Okay, we're ready for the last installment of block number 4, the Road to Oklahoma block, and that involves figuring out just how we're going to stitch or quilt this. What I'm thinking is I'm going to use both my walking foot and my free motion foot for this one. The first thing that I was thinking was, since this is a road to Oklahoma, I'm going to imagine this is the road right here. So the first thing I'm going to do when I mark my quilt is I'm going to take and mark from this point here to the point right. I'm just going to mark from this point, whoops, to that point, okay? Again, I'm using this big fat marker, but you'll get the idea. So then all I'm going to do is I'm going to use my walking foot, and I'm just going to kind of echo what that is. So this is a road. Pretend it's a straight road to Oklahoma. So I would just do this on this side and the same thing over here, marking first in the center so I can keep myself fairly accurate, and then going on this side and then on this side using my walking foot. The next part that I'm going to do involves using my free motion foot. Now, if you'd like to, you can just use your walking foot for some more things. You could do like we had done before, mark the little diagonal line here, and then remember how we had done this on some previous blocks, do this. Okay. But what I'm going to do is I want to mirror, I don't know if you can see, but there are kind of some little flowers in the blue. So I'm going to make some little flowers in these white things. So we're on the road and we're going to see flowers. I'll tell you what we're going to see next in this part. So let's use the red again. To do this one, I'm going to make a diagonal line on my quilt this way and one this way. And you can actually do this freehand. You don't need to use rulers for this. It's up to you. And then I'm going to go straight down the center like this and through the center like this. Now, ordinarily what I've done before is I've started in the center and I go out like this and come back. Okay, so let me show you. I would go out like this to that point and come back, out and come back, out and come back. And my petals could be a little bit off. Well, I just learned today from a friend of mine a way I could be doing this that might be a little bit easier. Never thought of it. So again, I will put the X and the cross. Just pretend like that's neatly done. And then rather than going around and coming to this point, I make my petal in the white part. And you see how they are more accurate and more sized the same. So that's what I would do. Whoops, that was a mess up. But anyway, that's what I'll do in these. So one more time, you just do the X and then come from the center and the center. And again, I'm using my plexiglass here that I got from the man side of the basement. It's all junky, but anyway, so then I'm going to do this again. So again, imagine we're on the road to Oklahoma, and these are flowers that we see along the way. The other thing that I'm going to do on the road is I'm going to see stars. So if it's night, I'm going to see stars. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to draw a line in this part and a line here. Okay, because I'm going to use, thread that's going to kind of blend in with this. I'm going to look for a coordinating thread. But what I'm going to do is just come down here and go out like that, just making a star. Come down again, go out like that. And that's all I'll put on that one. Now for the second one here, I'm going to come down, and maybe about halfway between these two, I'll come down and do this. Okay, that's it. And I think that's really going to be all I'm going to do for this block. I think it's really going to be pretty. But in case you're wondering, yes, for these ones that go sideways, I will just have my stars go to the side. So again, that's what I'm going to do for my quilt. I'll go get started and I'll meet you back here. Okay, as you can see, I have my whole quilt block marked and I'm ready to go, and I have the backing, the batting, and the top actually. And I'm going to start by pinning first. Remember, I like to pin. Okay, oh, one more. Okay, now I'm ready to head over to the machine. I'm going to do one of these sides first, and remember I'm going to do the middle, and then I'm going to use my presser foot and go over from it, and so on. Okay, now I'm going to go 4 stitches, pivot, and go up the other side. One, two. Oops. I'm changing feet. I'm going to change out the walking foot for the free motion foot. So I guess I'll start with this center one first. So let me take that pin out. Okay, I really like how the road has turned out and the flowers so far. They really look nice. I hope you can see some of the texture of them. But I want to warn you about something that I just figured out a little too late. I was being really careful, and it was difficult to try to get clear up here to the edges here with my rounded part of my flower, and then it dawned on me, wait a minute, there's going to be a 1/4 inch seam in here and my flowers are going to be cut off. So I tried to remedy it on this side. When I here I am all the way close to the edge, and then I was like, oh, wait a minute. So then I started staying in further, but a little too late. But if you decide to do flowers on your road to Oklahoma, remember, stay in. Don't go all the way out to the edge like I tried to do. Okay, I'm going to begin working on the stars now. Start right here and do a few stitches in place. Then I'm going to travel down the road that I've already made, or the line. I'm going to go to stitch to the left, back to the center, stitch to the right, back to the center left diagonal, and back to the center, and then right diagonal, and down, and then back to the center. Then I'm going to go down, leaving space on the next row for a one in between. Starting maybe right here, I'm going to go left, right, left diagonal, down to the bottom part of the diagonal, and right diagonal, and down, back to the center, and then follow that line that I had drawn back to the, or down to the bottom. Just going to travel right here. Okay, until I get to the next line, and do the same thing again. Now this one was right here, so I'm going to put one right here, kind of staggering them a little bit. You really can't see them very much at all because the thread really does match closely. So these are basically just for the quilting to help hold everything in place. Maybe add just a little bit of texture and a little bit of sheen with this pretty thread that I'm using. Okay, this one was here, so I'm going to do one here. And that's all there is to the stars. So I'm going to come off to the edge, just stitch in the ditch to the edge, and The Road to Oklahoma block is finished. I think that it turned out really nicely. I'm real pleased with it. I do like the texture that the flowers made, and the road. You can barely see the little snowflakes or the stars, but they serve their purpose well. I'm very happy with it. The only thing that I did do off camera was I did stitch in the ditch around all of the blue parts so that there was not any kind of sticking upness left. So, thanks. I'll see you again for the next block. It's going to be a much different block. Stay tuned.